This is the latest edition of Front Up, and I'm Whitey Willauer, and I've got a great guest, a world traveler, Terry Pommett. Terry, welcome to the latest edition of Front Up, and tell us all about what you've been doing lately.
Hey, Whitey, thanks a lot. What I planned on doing this year was to do a couple more of these travelogue films. The one I'm going to be showing Sunday at the Athenaeum at 4 p.m. in the Great Hall. It was my India trip, and
The country of India.
Yes, yes. I set out to see 4 different spots in India, and I had been to India before, back in the 70s.
What spots were you aiming at?
Well, Goa,
Yeah.
which is on the coast, a former Portuguese colony.
Sure.
Varanasi, which is a holy city of India, and it's in the...
That's Benares.
Yeah, they used to call it Benares.
Yeah.
And that's in the central plain.
Right.
And then up into the foothills of the Himalayas to Dharamsala.
That's where the Dalai Lama
You got it.
hides out from the Chinese.
That's right. It's where he throws his darts from the...
Yeah, I saw a picture of him on a treadmill recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad he's still going at it. I mean, he's getting up there in age, and
Yeah.
I know his health has been failing a bit, and he's not making as many international appearances. I was hoping to see him.
And the fourth city?
The fourth place was Mumbai, Bombay.
Bombay,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's the city I flew into and left from, so I had to really see something of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But this was my second trip to India. I was there many moons ago, and always wanted to go back. And this time I decided I'm going to go and really spend a month just taking pictures, shooting some video, and then put together a little film.
Do you have a bunch of beggars following you around every
Not
place?
like it used to be.
Really?
Not at all. It's really changed. India economically is a lot stronger. They're hoping to get a permanent seat on the Security Council.
That's right, I've heard about that.
So it's a different country. It's
Yeah, no rickshaws or that.
oh yeah, you still have that. I mean, you got
Petty
a billion
cabs.
people, don't
Yeah.
you? Something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
People everywhere. But that begging part is definitely has receded.
The kids aren't chasing you around on the streets?
No, there's a few, but not much. Not
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I think, in spite of the poverty there, I didn't really see people starving to death. I mean, you see poverty, but people seem to be eating okay. They get enough food. And, it's just, what are you going to do when you have so many people?
I always remember going to the station in Calcutta, Howrah Station.
Yes.
And everybody was sleeping on the ground
Yeah.
around the station. Is that still going on?
Well, that still goes on, but not nearly as much as I can remember from my first trip there. Because Bombay is really a major international city now. It's like New York and Los Angeles all rolled into one. It's the center of their film industry and their financial capital. So the goods and services there and the tourist-friendly atmosphere, it's pretty positive.
Now, how do you focus? In other words, you can't shoot everything. What do you sort of specialize in?
Well, I actually specialize in people, and India is one of those countries where you can really do a lot of people photography without anyone getting offended. I don't know what it is. I couldn't do nearly the work in America that I do in India.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. You walk up, you got a camera, people see you, they don't jump or hide or whatever. I make a quick contact and take a photograph. I sort of set it up ahead of time, as I'm scoping out the situation. Oh, there's a photo, and I sort of gravitate towards it. And if the person is at all hesitant, I don't take the picture. So it wouldn't be a good picture anyway.
And most of the people speak English, don't they?
Well, not the masses.
The masses don't.
No, but many, many people speak English. So you can get around so easily.
Yeah.
All the service industries, they speak English. All the shopkeepers seem to speak English. So, and the taxi drivers,
Yeah, now tell me, has Benares still got the people coming there to die?
Yes, it does. And And again, it's called Varanasi.
Well,
No, but I like to call it Benares too, because I always think of Benares silk.
Oh.
You know, it's the silk capital of India. Yeah. They make all the beautiful gold inlaid.
They have that gold
saris and shawls. It's all hand done, and there's a lot of mills, you know, around the city. But they come there to die, because if they die in Benares, they're guaranteed to go to heaven.
Then if they die across the river, what happens?
It's okay. As long as you're in Benares.
Oh, I thought if you died across the river, you came back as a donkey.
That's a new one for me. I don't know.
Well, maybe that's.
I don't know. But I saw a number of people on the other side of the river bathing, and they didn't seem to be worrying about donkeys. So I don't know.
Do they still cremate people?
Yes, they do. They do. There's a couple of they call them ghats.
Burning ghats.
And the ghats are like the stairs that lead down to the rivers, to the riverbank. And that's where all the pujas, which are prayer rituals, take place. And there's two ghats which are dedicated to burning, cremation. Burning the dead, and your ashes are thrown into the river, and it's very ritualized.
But now I remember seeing bodies floating down the river. Do you still have that?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really see any bodies. I mean, the Ganges, it's the mother river of India, and all sorts of things are thrown into the river. I guess if I remember seeing cows floating down. I don't remember seeing any bodies. But I'm sure it's possible. It's just a fascinating city, though. It's it's one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world.
And they used to have areas where all the smallpox people would be in one place, and all the lepers be in another place. And do they still segment the city?
I didn't notice that, but I did notice there are a lot of beggars in Varanasi.
Yeah.
But they're not the type to come up and pull on your shirt sleeve. They are, up and down, sitting there with their bowls, hoping that as you pass, you might throw them something. So. And
didn't the Buddha have something going on near there?
I think the Buddha gave his first sermon outside of Varanasi. In Sarnath, I think. Sarnath was the city, and under a tree, a Bodhi tree, and actually that tree is still there. A cutting from that tree, as I think it's like the third cutting now. But it was 800
years before Christ.
Yeah, maybe it's the fourth cutting. I don't know, but they keep replanting this tree. So I went out and saw it. It was huge.
Yeah, and then when you went up into the Himalayas, what happened up there?
Up there was all Buddhist, and that's why I picked those three places, because Goa was a lot of Christian from the Portuguese colony, and it's a big tourist area, beautiful beaches, and Varanasi is the holy Hindu city, and although they have all religions there, but it's basically Hindu pilgrimage city. And then in Dharamsala, actually just a little north of Dharamsala, it's called MacLeod Ganj.
Why MacLeod?
That's an old British term, and that's where they had the Brits had a summer hill country retreat up there. So that's a British name. There was he was a British colonel, I believe.
I was surprised they'd suddenly go along with all these names, and suddenly you got MacLeod.
I know, it doesn't sound right. It sounds out of place. But that's where they set up the Tibetan Buddhist government in exile since 1960, and I went up there, just to see the Buddhist culture. It was fascinating, very friendly, very warm. The culture is still alive. The monks are the way that you would probably see them in Tibet, although a lot of them have cell phones.
And can you see the Himalayas from there?
You can see the foothills. There's snow-capped peaks, but not quite the Himalayas. They're even further away. Yeah. So, but it was great because you get to walk around the park, which surrounds the Dalai Lama's home, and there are lots of shrines, and the Tibetans are so friendly, and you can walk with them, pray with them, do whatever you want.
Do they speak English?
Yeah, a lot of them speak English. They have their own little community there. They have craft centers and language centers, holistic healing center, and you can learn all you want about their form of Buddhism.
Now, did you spend the night there?
I spent a week and a half there.
And then where did you stay? In a monastery?
No. No, there's a lot of hotels. A lot of travelers there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big travelers destination. A lot of backpackers, a lot of middle-class people too. So they have all kinds of hotels there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and it's real narrow little streets and great food. I really liked it.
Yeah. Could you drink the water?
Bottled water.
Bottled water. Yeah, you got to be careful.
I would never drink any water other than bottled water in India.
Yeah.
I don't think most people would even consider it.
Now, did you fly around? Did you take trains?
I flew all around the country in a month for less than $1,000.
Really?
Yeah, the plane fares are very inexpensive. You know, so averaging like $200 a flight, and I took 4 or 5 flights. So.
Yeah. So, and it's a big country.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
So you really, if you only have a month, you want to see a lot.
Yeah.
Like I did, you have to fly. You can't take. You know the trains are like. Didn't you take a few Indian trains?
Yeah, I took it across there, and middle of the night, I hear knock, 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 and this guy walks in with his whole family and starts cooking food right there.
Yeah.
Pushing you out of the way.
That's still going on.
Yeah. That was first class. I don't know what happened to second and third class.
I traveled in third class my first time there.
Really?
And we used to hire Indians for a few rupees to jump onto the train as it's pulling into the station, run to an area, plop down on seats, so that when we got in, they'd get up and we'd have their seats. There's no way you would get a seat unless you had somebody like, intermediary grabbing it for you.
Now, how about, did you get any possibility of having your camera equipment stolen?
No, that's funny because I have had my camera equipment stolen at other times. But in fact, my first trip to India I got my camera equipment stolen on a train. But this time, I was real careful, and no one made any menacing gestures or anything. So I was careful, of course. Always kept it locked up in the hotel. But out on the street, I had no problem.
Yeah.
Everybody was real friendly.
They wouldn't be jostling you.
No, it was funny. I even shot in the Bombay train station. With people running this way and that, and I didn't have a problem.
Now, did you go down to Agra?
No, I did that on the first trip, just like you did.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to backtrack, do anything I'd
well,
see.
that's,
And the Taj Mahal, it's not the same. As far as tourism goes.
Oh.
When I was there the first time, I spent a full moon night just wandering around the grounds with friends, and camping out, so to speak. And
Sure.
now it's very regimented and, overrun with tourists. I had no intention of going.
There wasn't anybody around.
Nobody was around. Backpackers were. That was the extent of tourism in India. In those days. So.
And they had no air conditioning. Did you have air conditioning in the hotels? And
it was available. I generally like fans.
Okay.
I don't like to go because it was so hot. It was 110 degrees in Varanasi.
Yeah.
It was a dry heat, so it wasn't that bad. And in Goa, it was 95 and humid.
Yeah.
And that was bad. So I felt if I was in air conditioning and going in and out all day long, I could get sick. So I just stick with the fans.
Now, did you have to take all sorts of shots?
No, I didn't take a thing.
Oh, come on.
No. Dr. Hinson gave me a lot of medication in case I got sick, sort of to prep myself, get ready. But I didn't have to use anything, so.
See, we used to have to be a pincushion before.
I know. I was just like that when I first went.
Yeah.
I got hepatitis shots and who knows what else. I mean, I just remember getting a lot of shots the first time. But like I say, India's changed. It
sounds that way.
Yeah, it's an up and coming world power.
Yeah, they think it's going to be competing with China, but it's got a long ways to go.
Yeah, but I think the education in India is much better than it is in China.
Really?
Yeah. I think there's more opportunities. There's one state in India where it's almost totally devoted to outsourcing jobs in Bangalore from America. And it's not just answering phones. It's a lot of high-tech computer work. So and the medical system there is fantastic. I mean, a lot of Europeans and even Americans fly to India for medical treatment because it's as good as it is in the West, but it's a third of the price.
Yeah.
So I think India's got a great future.
I'm amazed that you say the education's better than it is in China.
Well, what does China have that India doesn't? Just think about it.
Yeah.
You know, India's got everything. I mean, high tech, fantastic architecture. Doesn't have as big an economy, of course, but great. So many Indians come to America to get educated, so they've got a great pool of educated young people.
And do they teach English in the high schools?
Yeah, they teach English.
Do they write or do they write and read in English, or what happens?
Yeah, they do, but Hindi is the national
Hindi's the national
language. Yeah, so they grow up learning both.
Yeah.
And then each state, there's like 360 different dialects in India and languages.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing. It's not homogeneous by any means.
Yeah.
So from place to place, it's like going to a different country.
So you're going to have this show on this weekend?
Yes, Sunday, and I did it in August 30th at the Athenaeum, the Great Hall, and now I'm doing it for the second and last time at the Great Hall, 4 o'clock on Sunday, and that's be the end of the stroll weekend. So hopefully we get a bunch of people there.